Today we're going to talk a little bit about patterns and sequences. Let's take a look at this first set of numbers that we have here. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and a continuing notation. If we were to start with this first piece, the 1, how could we go from 1 to 3? Well, to go from 1 to 3, we notice that all we have to do is add 2. If we continue going through this list of numbers, we'll notice that to go from 3 to 5 is also an addition of 2, and from 5 to 7, an addition of 2, and from 7 to 9, an addition of 2. If we were to continue this pattern, the next piece would also be added by 2, giving us 11. And the piece after that, and the piece after that, and so on and so on. Now we can take a look at many different lists of numbers and find different patterns. Take a look at the second example. What pattern do you see? In this case, all we're doing each time is doubling our piece, our number. And doubling, of course, we know means multiply it by 2. So each time we're going to multiply by 2 for this set of numbers, which means the next piece would be 32, followed by 64, followed by 128, and so on. In both of these cases, our values increased. Not all patterns are going to have an increase as we continue the set of numbers. Let's take example number 3. To go from 28 to 22, and then from 22 to 16, and then from 16 to 10, and from 10 to 4. What is happening every single time here? What pattern do we observe? Each time we are subtracting by 6. So that means the very next term here would be a -2, followed by a -8, followed by -14, and so on and so on. What pattern do you observe in number 4? As you continue along here, you're going to see that there is a division by 10 each time. So the next term in here would be 1 over 100, followed by 1 over 1,000, and so on and so on. Now these 4 examples all have a very fixed pattern, and they all seem to deal with 4 operations. The first example dealt with addition. The second example dealt with multiplication. The third example dealt with subtraction, and the fourth example dealt with division. When we have consistency like that, we're actually working with something known as a sequence. This is where we have an ordered list of numbers that follow a set pattern. Now before, I had called each of the numbers in our list a piece. The correct terminology is a term. So every single number in a sequence is known as a term. So if we look at this first example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms already written out for us. Let's see if we can observe a pattern here. What pattern do you see? As we progress from term to term to term to term, each time we are adding by 4. So if we were to figure out the 6th term, we would take the 19 and add 4 to it, giving us 23. So then the 7th term would follow the same pattern, because this is a sequence, giving us 27. And so on, and so on. Let's look at our second example. Once again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms already listed out for us. Let's determine the pattern. What do you observe in this sequence? We're actually returning to a sequence where the pattern is multiplying by 2. Which means the very next term in our series of numbers in our sequence would be 64, followed by 128. Can you determine the next number? The next term should be 256. There are many different types of sequences. In the next video, we'll actually discuss one of the 2 sequences that we are really going to focus on this school year.